The man who knew too much. In the heart of Lagos, Nigeria, a brilliant scientist named Kwame Obafemi worked in secrecy. His small lab, hidden beneath a modest electronics shop, held the blueprint for an invention that could change warfare and the world forever. Kwame had spent years developing what he called the Guardian Helm, a combat helmet infused with cutting-edge nanotechnology. Unlike anything ever created, it could instantly repair itself if damaged, connect to a soldier's nervous system, allowing them to react at superhuman speeds, provide a 360-degree view with augmented reality, generate a personal force field against projectiles, enhance brain function, making the wearer nearly omniscient on the battlefield. It was a masterpiece of science, 100 years ahead of anything the U.S. military had. And that was precisely the problem. The leak. Kwame never intended for his invention to become a weapon. His dream was to revolutionize construction, medicine, and even space travel. But in a moment of misplaced trust, he shared his research with an old colleague, Dr. Henry Caldwell, an American military scientist. Caldwell, astounded by the technology, sent a classified report to the U.S. Department of Defense. The response was immediate and brutal. The kill order. Within 48 hours, the Pentagon had labeled Kwame as a threat to national security. His name appeared on a top-secret kill list, alongside terrorists and warlords. The U.S. Army, along with Delta Force operatives and CIA agents, was ordered to eliminate him and seize his research at any cost. Kwame had no idea that, as he adjusted the helmet's neural interface, a drone was already circling his shop. Nor did he know that a SEAL team had been deployed, disguised as diplomats in Abuja. But he wasn't completely unaware. He felt something was wrong. The attack. That night, a black van pulled up outside his shop. 5 heavily armed men in tactical gear stormed in, silenced weapons at the ready. But they weren't prepared for what Kwame had built. He had been testing the Guardian Helm when the first agent fired. The bullet stopped midair, melting into harmless particles. The helmet's AI analyzed the threats in microseconds, feeding Kwame battle strategies beyond human comprehension. With enhanced reflexes, he dodged an incoming agent, grabbed a metal rod, and disarmed him in a single strike. The others opened fire, but Kwame moved like a ghost, effortlessly avoiding their attacks. Then, the helmet activated its neuromagnetic pulse, disabling every weapon in the room. The soldiers stood in stunned silence as Kwame, breathing heavily, realized the truth. The United States of America wanted him dead, not for who he was, but for what he had created. The escape. Knowing he couldn't stay in Lagos, Kwame uploaded his research onto a quantum-encrypted drive and fled. He moved through underground networks, evading spies, drones, and mercenaries hired to hunt him. Meanwhile, his invention had already leaked. A hacker group, Black Dawn, had intercepted his files and spread them to rogue scientists and governments worldwide. The balance of power was shifting, and the U.S. military had lost control. The war for the future. As Kwame stood on the deck of a cargo ship heading to an undisclosed location, he realized that his life would never be the same. He was now the most wanted man on Earth, but also the only one who could decide how this technology would shape humanity. Would he use it to liberate the oppressed? Or would it become the next tool of war? The world held its breath as the man who knew too much vanished into the unknown. Kwame Obafemi sat in the dimly lit cargo hold of the freighter, his mind racing. He had evaded death once, but he knew the U.S. military would not stop. They had endless resources, satellites, spies, assassins. If he was to survive, he needed allies. As the ship cut through the Atlantic, Kwame connected the Guardian Helm to a custom-built quantum laptop. Using a network of underground relays, he contacted the one group that could stand against the American military-industrial complex, the Black Dawn. The Resistance. Black Dawn was a decentralized collective of rogue scientists, hackers, and ex-military specialists, all united by one belief: technology should be free from government control. They had infiltrated intelligence agencies, weapon manufacturers, and cyber warfare divisions across the globe. If anyone could help Kwame, it was them. After an hour of encrypted messaging, a response finally appeared. Coordinates received. Rendezvous in Freetown, Sierra Leone. We'll be waiting. The trap. But Kwame wasn't the only one tracking the message. Unbeknownst to him, the NSA had been using an advanced AI surveillance program called Project Omen, a system capable of monitoring and decrypting even the most secure communications. The moment Kwame confirmed his location, a kill team was deployed. 6 stealth drones were already en route. The USS Arlington, a high-tech destroyer, was moving into position near the African coast. An Omega Squad, an elite group of cybernetically enhanced soldiers, was preparing for an ambush. Kwame was sailing straight into a trap. Freetown ambush. 3 days later, under the cover of darkness, Kwame arrived in Sierra Leone. The moment he set foot on the docks, he knew something was wrong. The city felt too quiet. No stray dogs, no late-night traders, no music from the usual bars. Then, a red laser flickered across his chest. "Down!" shouted a voice. A barrage of suppressed gunfire erupted. Kwame barely managed to roll behind a shipping container as Omega Squad descended from the rooftops. Their exoskeletons made them faster, stronger, deadlier than any normal soldier. A bullet grazed Kwame's arm, but the Guardian helm immediately activated its bionanites, sealing the wound in seconds. His augmented vision mapped out enemy positions, identifying weak points in their armor. A familiar voice crackled in his earpiece. "Move west, into the alley. We've got you." It was Naya, one of Black Dawn's top operatives. Kwame sprinted through the maze of crates and metal structures, dodging incoming fire. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the docks, sending a wave of heat and debris into the air. The resistance had arrived. Drones swooped down, launching EMP blasts that disabled Omega Squad's exosuits. Naya emerged from the shadows, dual-wielding silenced pistols, taking down 2 operatives with surgical precision. "Kwame, we need to move now." The underground war begins. They raced through the burning docks, reaching a hidden tunnel beneath an abandoned warehouse. As they descended into the Resistance's secret bunker, Kwame saw dozens of engineers working on prototypes of his Guardian helm. Black Dawn had taken his technology and begun mass-producing it. "This is bigger than you now," Naya said. "The world is waking up. Governments want to control your invention, but we believe in something different: equality through technology." Kwame looked around at the determined faces of the underground fighters. A new war had begun, not just against the US military, but against the entire system that sought to control innovation for its own power. He had a choice. Would he fight to protect his creation? Or would he destroy it before it fell into the wrong hands? Kwame stood in the underground bunker, watching engineers and hackers rush around, assembling Guardian helm prototypes. The technology he had invented, meant to protect and empower, was now at the center of a global conflict. Naya placed a tablet in his hands. "You need to see this." Kwame's heart sank as he read the classified document Black Dawn had intercepted. Executive Order 999, terminate Kwame Obafemi by any means necessary. Deploy Omega Squad internationally. Leverage media to paint him as a global threat. They weren't just hunting him anymore. They were rewriting history to justify his execution. The smear campaign. The next morning, news broadcasts around the world declared Kwame Obafemi a terrorist. Nigerian scientist linked to radical insurgent groups. Sources claim his stolen technology could be used for mass destruction. U.S. intelligence believes Obafemi plans an attack on major cities. Kwame clenched his fists. He had seen governments do this before, turn truth into fiction to justify war. "This is how they win," Naya muttered. "Not just with bullets, but with lies." Hunted by the world. The U.S. wasn't alone. Soon, Interpol issued a red notice, and the European Union, China, and even Russia began scrambling to capture Kwame. Not because they believed the lies, but because they wanted his technology for themselves. Within hours, every airport, border checkpoint, and major city was on high alert. Kwame was officially the world's most wanted man. "We need to leave," Naya said. "We have a plan, but it's risky." The plan: infiltrating the Pentagon. The only way to stop the hunt was to erase Project Omen, the AI system tracking him. And to do that, they had to break into the Pentagon itself. Kwame stared at Naya like she had lost her mind. "You want me to walk into the heart of the U.S. military?" "No," she said, smiling. "I want you to walk out after shutting them down." Phase 1: The Trojan Horse. 2 days later, a U.S. military convoy arrived at Joint Base Andrews in Washington, D.C. Among the armored trucks was a highly secured containment unit, inside, a prisoner in handcuffs and a Guardian helm prototype locked in a titanium case. The guards thought they were delivering Kwame Obafemi to a maximum security facility. They were wrong. The moment the convoy passed a security checkpoint, the Guardian helm activated remotely. The nanites inside dissolved the restraints and fed Kwame's brain an instant tactical plan. He moved faster than the guards could react. In seconds, 2 of them were down. The third managed to fire, but the bullet stopped midair, disintegrating into harmless dust. "Time to go," Kwame muttered, slipping on the helmet. Phase 2: The Pentagon Break-In. Naya and a Black Dawn infiltration team were already inside the Pentagon, disguised as government contractors. Their goal? Access the mainframe and upload a virus into Project Omen. As Kwame made his way toward the underground server room, alarms blared. Security teams stormed the hallways. Then came Omega Squad. The cybernetic super soldiers had been waiting for him. The leader, Commander Zane Holloway, smirked. "Did you really think you could beat us, Obafemi?" Kwame adjusted the Guardian helm. "I don't need to beat you," he said. "Just slow you down." Then he vanished. The helmet's light-bending cloaking system rendered him invisible. Zane cursed. "Find him." Phase 3: The Final Upload. Deep inside the Pentagon's Cyber Warfare Division, Naya had reached the mainframe. She inserted a quantum virus designed to erase every trace of Kwame's data from Project Omen. But there was a problem. "The system has an AI failsafe," she said, sweat dripping from her forehead. "If we shut it down, it activates every nuclear defense system in America." Kwame's voice crackled through the comms. "I have an idea, but it's risky." He linked the Guardian helm directly to the Pentagon's AI, engaging in a battle not of fists, but of pure intelligence. For 2 minutes, he faced off against a machine capable of predicting the future. For 2 minutes, the fate of the world hung in the balance. And then... silence. The alarms stopped. The AI was gone. Project Omen had been wiped clean. The Great Escape. Kwame staggered back, his brain overloaded from the data battle. But there was no time to celebrate. Omega Squad was coming. A helicopter hovered outside. Naya shouted into her earpiece. "Kwame!" We're out of time. Kwame sprinted to the rooftop. The Guardian helm activated its gravimetric boosters, and in one leap, he soared toward the extraction chopper. Bullets flew past him. Zane Holloway lunged, trying to grab Kwame's leg. But he was too late. Kwame landed inside the helicopter. As they ascended into the night, he looked down at the Pentagon, knowing he had just changed the course of history. The world after. With Project Omen destroyed, the U.S. military lost its ability to track him. Governments across the world panicked. Without Kwame's technology, their power was slipping. Black Dawn began releasing fragments of the Guardian helm's blueprints to the public, allowing scientists everywhere to develop the future without government control. And Kwame? He disappeared. Some say he went underground, working on something even greater. Others believe he walked away from it all, tired of being hunted. But there was one rumor no one could confirm. That somewhere, deep in the mountains of Africa, a new city was rising, one powered by his inventions, free from the control of any government. A city of the future. A beacon of hope. A place where technology belonged to the people. Kwame Obafemi had disappeared. For 3 years, the world searched for him. The CIA, MI6, Mossad, Chinese MSS, they all wanted him, dead or alive. But no one could find him. Because Kwame had gone to a place no satellites could see. A place hidden beneath the vast Congolese rainforest, where the jungle swallowed everything. A place known only by one name. Nova. The birth of a utopia. Nova was more than a city. It was a revolution. Kwame, with the help of Black Dawn and rogue scientists from around the world, had built the first self-sustaining, high-tech civilization, free from corporate and government control. Powered by solar fusion cores, Nova had anti-surveillance technology, making it invisible to satellites and drones. Autonomous AI systems for medicine, agriculture, and security. Advanced education centers, training the next generation of scientists and engineers. Energy shields, capable of resisting any military invasion. And at the center of it all? The Helix Tower, where Kwame continued his research. But peace wouldn't last. Because the world was coming for him. The betrayal. Deep in a CIA black site, a prisoner sat in darkness. His name was Zane Holloway, the disgraced commander of Omega Squad. He had been locked away after failing to stop Kwame 3 years ago. But today, the director of the CIA stood before him with an offer. You want revenge? We'll give you the means to take it. They handed him a classified file. Inside was the location of Nova. Operation Blackout. Within days, a coalition of global superpowers formed an alliance. The US, China, Russia, and the European Union all had been humiliated by Kwame's technology. And they all agreed on one thing: Nova had to be destroyed. The plan was called Operation Blackout, a full-scale invasion using orbital EMP strikes to disable Nova's defenses. Stealth bombers carrying bunker-busting warheads. Elite cyber soldiers, led by Zane Holloway. It was the largest covert military operation in history. And it had one goal: kill Kwame Obafemi. The first attack. It started at midnight. Nova's skies darkened as military satellites unleashed a massive EMP wave. The city's energy shields flickered, struggling to hold. Then came the bombers, dropping hypersonic warheads. But Nova was ready. Autonomous drone squadrons launched from hidden silos, intercepting the missiles before they hit. AI-controlled turrets shredded incoming aircraft with laser precision. For every soldier that landed, Nova's combat exosuits responded, warriors enhanced with Guardian Helm technology. The battle had begun. Zane versus Kwame, the final duel. As the war raged, Zane Holloway led a strike team into Helix Tower. His cybernetic implants gave him superhuman strength, speed, and reflexes. He had only one mission: kill the man who ruined his life. Inside the lab, Kwame waited. He had upgraded the Guardian Helm, enhancing it with a quantum combat interface. Zane smirked. "You should have stayed hidden." Kwame didn't reply. He simply activated the helmet. The duel began. Zane attacked first, moving like a phantom, his neural implants predicting Kwame's movements. He swung a blade coated in nanoplasma, capable of cutting through steel. But Kwame's Guardian Helm saw every possibility in real time. He dodged at the last millisecond, countering with an energy pulse that sent Zane crashing through a wall. Zane roared, lunging forward. They fought across the tower, through laboratories, data rooms, and engineering bays. Each strike was calculated, each move executed with inhuman precision. Zane was faster. But Kwame was smarter. As Zane charged one final time, Kwame activated a graviton field, suspending him in midair. "You were never meant to win this fight," Kwame said. Then, with a single strike, he shattered Zane's cybernetic implants, disabling him permanently. The end of the old world. Meanwhile, the battle outside reached its climax. The superpowers had thrown everything at Nova: drones, missiles, cyber attacks. And they had lost. Their armies were broken. Their technology was obsolete against Nova's advancements. They had underestimated Kwame Obafemi, the man they once hunted, now the most powerful scientist on Earth. As the war ended, the world finally understood the truth. They had spent decades fighting for control, but Kwame had built something greater. A future where technology was free. A future without war, without corruption, without control. Nova had won. And humanity would never be the same again. The new dawn. As the sun rose over Nova, Kwame stood on the Helix Tower, watching the new world he had created. The old powers had crumbled. A new era had begun. And the name Kwame Obafemi would be remembered forever. 10 years after the fall of the old world. The superpowers were gone. After their catastrophic defeat at Nova, the world's greatest nations had crumbled under their own weight. Governments collapsed. Economies shattered. The old world was no more. In its place, a new civilization emerged, the Ascendancy. Under Kwame Obafemi's leadership, Nova had expanded beyond the hidden jungles of Africa. Cities across the globe had joined the revolution, embracing open-source technology, free energy, and AI governance. Poverty? Gone. Disease? Eradicated. War? A thing of the past. But there was one final frontier left to conquer. The stars. Project Ascension, humanity's leap into space. Kwame knew that Earth was just the beginning. If humanity was to evolve, it had to leave its cradle. For the past decade, Nova's greatest minds had worked in secret on a single mission: Ascension. A fleet of interstellar colony ships, equipped with quantum warp drives, nanite terraformers, and AI-controlled ecosystems. Their goal? To establish the first human empire beyond Earth. And in the heart of Nova, a massive space station had been built, Obafemi Prime, the launch hub for humanity's greatest journey. The return of an old enemy. But as the first Ascension fleet prepared for launch, something happened. A signal was detected from the outer edges of the solar system. It wasn't natural. It wasn't human. And it was watching. The truth about Earth's isolation. For centuries, mankind believed it was alone in the universe. That space was empty, silent, waiting to be explored. They were wrong. As NOVA's top scientists decoded the signal, a horrifying truth was revealed. Earth had been quarantined. For millennia, an ancient intelligence had watched humanity from the shadows, ensuring it never advanced beyond its planetary borders. Every war, every collapse, every attempt to reach the stars, engineered from the outside. The US military? The old world's corruption? All just pieces of a grander design. And now that Kwame had broken the cycle, they were coming. The invasion. The first attack came without warning. A fleet of dark, angular ships emerged from the void, descending upon Earth with impossible speed. They struck Obafemi Prime first, massive plasma beams slicing through its defenses. NOVA's automated security systems retaliated, unleashing quantum railguns and gravity disruptors, but it wasn't enough. The invaders were too advanced. And at the head of the assault was a single being, its presence radiating sheer cosmic power. Its voice echoed across all frequencies, all languages, all minds. Humanity was never meant to ascend. You have broken the order. Now, you will be erased. The last stand. For the first time in his life, Kwame Obafemi faced an enemy beyond his understanding. This wasn't a corrupt government or a failing empire. This was a force beyond Earth itself. And if they lost this battle, humanity would be wiped out forever. But Kwame had spent his entire life defying the impossible. As the alien fleet surrounded Earth, he activated the final secret of NOVA. A weapon designed for one purpose: to fight the gods themselves. Project Helios, the birth of a god-killer. Deep beneath NOVA's core, hidden from all eyes, lay Helios, a city-sized warship powered by the Guardian Helm's ultimate evolution. A machine so advanced, it could rewrite the laws of reality itself. As the alien overlords prepared to erase humanity, Helios rose from the Earth like a second sun. And in its command center, wearing the final version of the Guardian Helm, stood Kwame Obafemi, the first human ascendant. He looked up at the invading armada, fire burning in his eyes. The war for Earth was over. The war for the universe had begun. The battle for Earth. The alien fleet surrounded the planet, their ships dark as void, their technology beyond human comprehension. The skies burned as NOVA's defenses fought back, but even the most advanced weapons humanity had developed couldn't match the invaders' power. At the center of it all, aboard Helios, Kwame Obafemi stood at the bridge, his mind linked to the final evolution of the Guardian Helm. He had spent his life fighting tyrants, governments, and warlords. But now, he was fighting something else. Something ancient. Something that had controlled the fate of humanity for millennia. And he was about to end it. The truth about the invaders. Through the Guardian Helm's quantum interface, Kwame reached out into the void, his consciousness touching the hive mind of the alien overlords. And in that moment, he saw the truth. They were called the Celestials, a race older than time itself, rulers of countless galaxies. They had guided the evolution of entire civilizations, deciding who would rise and who would fall. Earth was just one of many experiments. "We allowed you to exist," the celestial overmind whispered into Kwame's mind. "But you have broken the cycle. You have reached beyond your station. You are a mistake that must be corrected." Kwame clenched his fists. "No," he said. "We are the future. The final war." The first shot from Helios shattered a celestial warship in a single blast. Nova's forces, inspired by Kwame's defiance, launched a full-scale counterattack. Humanity fought like never before. Drones swarmed. AI-controlled battle mechs punched through alien hulls. Spacecraft, built with stolen military blueprints, maneuvered through the void like lightning, cutting down enemy squadrons. But the Celestials were gods in their own right. Their ships shifted in and out of reality, their weapons able to erase entire cities with a single strike. For every Celestial that fell, hundreds more arrived. And soon, it became clear. Humanity was losing. Kwame's ultimate gamble. Kwame stood at the center of Helios, his mind processing millions of battle simulations per second. The numbers didn't lie. They couldn't win this fight. Not with weapons. Not with war. But maybe, just maybe, they didn't have to. Through the Guardian Helm, Kwame accessed the Celestial Overmind one last time. He wasn't trying to destroy it. He was trying to rewrite it. Using the full power of the Guardian Helm's quantum network, he hacked the very fabric of the Celestial's existence. You have controlled us for millennia, Kwame spoke into their hive mind. But now, I control you. The Celestials screamed. For the first time in their history, their absolute authority had been challenged. For the first time, they knew fear. And in that instant, they vanished. Their ships disintegrated. Their weapons turned to dust. Their influence on Earth, gone forever. The Age of Ascension. Silence fell across the battlefield. Humanity had done the impossible. They had broken free. For the first time in history, Earth belonged to its people. No rulers. No oppressors. No invisible hand guiding their fate. Just a future of their own making. And Kwame? He stepped onto the surface of the first human colony beyond Earth, a world untouched, waiting to be shaped. He looked up at the endless stars, knowing that the war was over. And the true journey had only just begun. Epilogue, the last message. Many years later, an encrypted message was sent from deep space. It contained only one sentence, spoken in Kwame Obafemi's voice. We are not alone. And this time, we are ready.